I'm Carrie Heitzman with the O.C.Tanner company. I am a group leader over production. I also help manage the training system. What you're about to see is the training system in how we flow. Basically, we'll show you how we walk through demand and how the team members or trainees, they will process through that whole system. So this is the training board. So we have a day shift and we have a night shift. There's about 20 of them that are full-time. That's their job. 99% of the time they're either training somebody one-on-one, they're doing documentation, they're out on the floor. That's their focus. They are not hired outside, they're all hired within. And when we interview, they're right from the floor. They are not the best of the job. They're the best at teaching the job. We have found that if you're the best, you're usually not patient and you just want somebody to come in and get it and go. And so that's what we're looking for. We're really protective of the trainers that we pick because if they're not a good pick, it causes problems down the line. So how our process works is we have these Kanban cards. In the past, we used to just have a huge Excel sheet. It was like, hey, we need all these people trained. It got to be 300 to 400 lines, and somebody like myself would manage it and say, oh, you get to train, you get to train. Sometimes by the time I got down to like Matt's trainer, they've retired, they don't need that skill anymore. It was a lot of full-time job to do that. Now we've kind of gone to a Kanban system. It used to be 2 cards per team, but as our teams get smaller and smaller, still that was too much. So what we're trying now is we look at how much capacity does each trainer have, and then we add 10%, and that's the amount of cards that we made. So the system works like this. So Matt could go talk to his team leader, say, hey, where's my gaps, or who wants development? So he would decide, he would come put it on the board. And what happens is, like, this is Bao. Right now he has a free spot. Bao doesn't come to me and say, Carrie, what do you want me to do? Bao comes to me and Hope is going to be his first person that he has the skill to train. Bao can train anything that he has certified in and used in the last 6 months to a year. We want to make sure that they're fresh on their skills. He would come, grab Hope's card. He would go to Hope's team leader and say, I have this slot open for this skill. Is it a good fit at this time? Sometimes they'll say, no, it's not the best, like Hope's going out for vacation or something's going on. They'll bump him. Otherwise, he'll just pull the card over and they'll start training. The training's broken into 20% increments. So the first 20% is really, I'm just trying to explain the job to you, show you how the equipment works, go through that. At 40%, we're letting them hands-on try stuff. And in the training team, we have stuff that can be scrapped. And as an adult, you don't want to make a mistake in front of your peers. So that's why we remove you and put you in the training team to try to relieve some of that pressure and just learn. So the stuff that you're working on, it's okay if it gets refined or junked. It's not going to hurt anything. At 60%, they start coming and pulling real work from the team because they have a good understanding. They still are probably very slow, and their quality is still a little bit shaky, but we want them to start feeling what a real order would look like. At 80%, we feel confident that they have good understanding. They're good at doing the skill. They still might be a little slow, but we take them back to their team, and we go in with them. So my trainee would be right here, and my trainer's right there. When the trainer or trainee might get behind, the trainer jumps right in and helps them pick up. It also gives us a chance to say, are they ready? Sometimes we put them in the team in like 10 minutes. We're like, no, they're not ready. Pull them back out, and we'll try again in a few days. That's usually for about a week. Once that goes well, the trainer will remove themselves, and then we do audits. So we schedule 1 week after, the trainer goes back, and they're looking for, have they been rotated? If they haven't, we already failed the audit because that's leadership. We should have rotated them because it's not fair for me to audit you on something you haven't practiced for the week. And it's not, hey, trainee, you failed. It's team leader, you failed. We'll do that. And then if they pass that, then we do what a lead trainer audit, and a group leader sometimes will come. And the lead trainer is really looking at, is the trainee getting trained consistently across the board? Is there any questions that I'm going to ask that they can't answer? They're looking for holes in their documentation, and also to audit the trainer to make sure it's consistent across the board. And the last one that's the most important audit for us is the group leader and team leader. So right now, like Tia, she's mine. So when they schedule the audit with me, I would go and her team leader would go. And what I'm looking for is, was her training thorough? Can she do what I expect her to do? Is her speed and her quality acceptable to me? If I sign off of it, I'm saying, yeah, I'm happy with the training that was provided. If I say, you know what, Matt tells me, Carrie,
she's breaking a lot of dies, I'm still not comfortable, even though she can answer all your questions. At that moment, my trainer would pull them right back into training and address it, and then we would audit again. If we sign it, say everything's great, and then a month or two down the road an issue comes up, we would expect the group leader, hey, that's a coaching issue, address that first, and then if we need to, we'll pull them back into training. In the past, we didn't do that, so we would say, yeah, training says we're good, put them in the line, and then Matt may come to me 6 months later and say, oh, you guys did not train this person good, we're having this and this and this. And now it's ownership. Like, I will train, but also you're saying, yeah, I'm okay with that. And sometimes they don't. They're like, no, we're not good, take them back. And we've gone through that. Then when they're done, the card becomes free again, and then the group leader does the same process. Meet with their team, they talk about what they would like to do, and then they will put them up here. The trainee gets entered in the system, but the trainee also fills out a feedback form on my training and the training process. So there's me and 2 other leaders that we review them, and we're looking for, is there a problem out on the floor we haven't seen, or is our trainers having a problem? We have very specific questions on, are they using documentation, are they comfortable, are they knowledgeable in the skill? And then we also ask, how was your environment, did you feel prepared? Because we're trying to gauge both things. We want to see if it ever comes, well, I feel like I was rushed, then we can see that in the feedback of, hey, maybe I need to go talk to this group leader because it felt they were kind of pushed, or what was the circumstance. We try to make the documents as simple as we can, and some people are like, well, will you change the words out and make them simpler? If I'm going to use the word in day-to-day working, I will not. I will just make sure I reinforce that so you understand what I'm talking about. And usually it's more of like sometimes personalities that we run up against that don't work well. But when we train and do the job right in front of them. So we're trying to grasp everybody's learning styles. And we just talk through it. Sometimes the trainers will come, we meet weekly, and they'll tell me they're not grasping this or they're having a hard time with it. And we talk as a group, how do we help them? And go through that. So language is not too much of a problem.
Hope you liked today's content. If you did, go ahead and like it. Subscribe for more information.